So I just finished my 6th short film in 6 months, and I wanted to make a video to kind of document what I've learned, what I want to do moving forward, and I hope that this not only benefits me, but helps you out as well if you're making short films. So let's dive into this.
I'm Michael Archuleta, and these are the things we need to know.
Like badass skills and tactics? Subscribe and hit the bell. Now before we even get started, this is a project that came to fruition due to a post I made in a Facebook group. I mentioned that I was a small-time director and producer, like independent style, you know, and if anyone had a script and wanted to maybe work on something, let's give it a shot. So I had one guy try to sell me a script, and another guy hit me up with this idea that I thought we could do if we had, you know, $500 or $600. And so we talked about it a bit. I said, hey, let's try and raise some money. I tried to raise some money myself. I tried to initially raise $100. That did not work out. We tried a couple of campaign funding or crowdsourcing options. That did not work out. Not because we couldn't raise the money, but just because the platform wasn't really working with what we were able to do at the time. The guy that wrote the story decided that he was going to go ahead and try to raise that money himself. He raised $450, shot that over to me, and I was able to put this project together. So that's pretty crazy that this happened from a Facebook post, that the gentleman who wrote it actually raised the money and sent it to me, and that, you know, he put a lot of faith in me by doing that. I could have just took the cash and did nothing, but you know, obviously I didn't, went ahead and made the short film. Yeah, that's kind of the backstory of on how this got started. Let's go ahead and check out some of the things that I did. So with all of my short films, I really like to plan. And in my last short film, I worked on something called The Journal of Edwin Hale, and you can see here that I have a director's script that I remade, production notes, photos and pics, another page of notes, older director's script. As I went along from the original script and so on, I built more documents, had more notes and more things to help keep me organized. When I got to editing, and I'll touch on this some more in a bit, but I recorded the two actors separately. So when I went to edit, I had to have a script of just the doctor's parts or just the sheriff's parts in order to cut down all the error and all the mistakes in order to get down a clean cut to edit into the bigger project. These are just some of the things that help me be a bit more efficient. Another thing I would do is, as I work on the project, I would make more files for different sections. So in this one, I had kind of like a rough edit here, and when I got to a point where it was pretty good, I made a copy and started working on a more final cut, a more final edit with all the extra bells and whistles. I just wanted to get a clean cut done first, and once I was there, make a new project and continue, so that way if you do something that you don't like, you at least have a base point to go back to. Here are some props I have so far. This would be the sheriff's shirt and badge. Got a microscope for one of the desks, lamp desk, urn for Eddie's ashes, doctor's lab coat. Another thing I did was make the intro separately and do some of the special effects separately and import those into the main timeline as I went on. I did some makeup on myself and took pictures of these on my iPhone. I also got a picture of my niece. I shot her on a white background and then just put like what I would imagine like they'd put in a background for a school picture back in the 50s. And I printed these out on my printer, and I use these as cutaways to tie more of my story together. So that's pretty neat. So that's a little bit of makeup there, a little bit of special effects, and some cutaways and B-roll. I also made the intro sequence of the doctor looking over one of these photos with the magnifying glass. So this is actually me just filming over my shoulder with the magnifying glass and recording this, and then the first cut is the doctor looking at a picture with his magnifying glass. So hopefully that kind of ties it together.
Hey there, Doc. What do you think happened out at the Hale House?
Another thing I did on this short film was I wrote original music to it. So I've yet to do this on a project. Now, I've been a musician for pretty much my entire life, but this is the first project where I wrote something, and it's just like a 30-second piece, but it fits in really well over the intro and the outro of the movie.
Love so deep it's over my head. If could kill, I'd be dead and I'm
On the evening of June 27, 1954, 15-year-old Edwin Hale escaped from his attic prison and killed his father, Edgell Hale, and the butler, Robert Hutchins. The focus of horrific abuse, the boy had been driven insane and left his confinements to exact his revenge.
That was pretty neat. I recorded that right here in this room, did everything to a metronome. I recorded the guitar right here, my electric guitar, not plugged in, straight into the computer, and used some effects on GarageBand. I also sang right here, and I set in the drums, and yeah, came up with a cool little song. So that was pretty neat, and I think that adds a little bit of production value to the project as well.
Please hang up and try again.
Another cool little effect that I was able to work out was turning my niece into a bat. And so my niece and the bat are actually both on a green screen. And I put a picture underneath them, kind of zoomed in the picture a little bit as the footage went. Right there you can see a dissolve between the two, just trying to blend it and not make it so noticeable that it's a still photo back there. Turned that into a file, brought that back in, and then added this puff of smoke to blend that switch. Now you can see her arm on the right side of the screen changes into a wing, and it's covered up by that smoke to really blend that together. And then I added a sound effect.
That's drunk. He said it was giant bat.
And that kind of sells that effect. So I shot each of my actors separately. The first day of shooting, I had the sheriff come in, and I read the lines along with him. We set up the camera and a computer or monitor where the doctor would be sitting. So where the sheriff is looking, that, you know, he's reading a script, but it looks like he's talking to another person. And when we recorded the doctor, we set it up the same way. He would be reading a script, but it was a little bit higher, so it looks like he's sitting up from his chair and talking to someone standing in front of his desk. Edited down, you can see that this is 8 minutes and 7 seconds. The final film is 5 minutes with another person talking and other things thrown in, so there's probably a lot of mistakes in here. But once this was cut down, put another green screen behind my doctor and really clean that back plate. And so then it would come to another project, and here you can see that we have all of the mistakes cut out, and you got a pretty clean edit. And I even have some tests up here in the beginning of this file where I'm testing the eye lines and stuff like that. Here's actually what the studio looked like when I shot the sheriff, and here's what it looked like when I shot the doctor. I recorded them on my DSLR camera. I actually had a friend operate the camera when we shot the sheriff, and my wife operated the camera when we shot the doctor, who in turn happens to be her dad. I did have a bunch of family members help me with this, and the sheriff is an actor that I met off of a group in Facebook. I think I came away with something pretty good. I definitely see things that I want to improve upon. We'll be looking forward to doing so. That's that. I hope this video helped you. Hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed yet, I'd love to be a part of your journey, so please do. And until next time, stay badass.